Hey, hey, hey. Once again, this episode of The Friend Zone is brought to you by Bevel, which is the first and only, which is the key word, shaving system designed specifically for coarse, curly, nappy, black hair, and sensitive skin. Start shaving smart and say goodbye to razor bumps with Bevel. Check out getbevel.com today and use code FRIENDZONEFREE to get the first month of your Bevel subscription for free. That's right, go to getbevel.com and use code FRIENDZONEFREE at checkout to get the first month of your Bevel subscription for free. And let me tell you something, it's worth it. Let's start the show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the rap. Friend zone, yeah, we back. We gonna get this shit popping, so here's the beat. Stay tuned, bitches. Don't move your seat. Move your feet, yeah, move it to the beat. Do that shit right and do it in the streets. Play that shit hard and play that shit loud. Play that shit like you black and proud.
I wasn't gonna do it, but I gotta get a piece. It wouldn't be the same if I didn't speak my piece. I seen a girl named Keisha and the bitch said peace.
Peace.
I looked and it said you had this shit on last week. See, I'm tired of these hoes and I'm more tired of these niggas. I'm trying not to be a nigga that is always pulling on triggers. I'm really trying to keep my focus and trying to keep my focus up and let everybody know what's up. And it's coming right from my gut and it's heartfelt. That's why you melt when you get some. I'm gonna end it right there because that's all we need. Hey! Welcome to the Friend Zone, everybody.
I felt like they deserve snaps at the end of it.
That's right.
It was
That's a little bit of
rapping.
spoken word.
That's right.
Rapping fusion.
That's right.
Hybrid, next level type
You was
shit.
like Notorious Maya Angelou or something. I was fucking with it.
Yeah. That's who I am, really, in my car. I'm like a mix between like Maya Angelou, Lil Kim, Lil Jon,
Wow.
Lil Bit, because everybody knows somebody named Lil Bit in the hood.
Bit,
You know what I'm saying? All that shit. Lil Wayne, hey.
Did y'all see the Lil Wayne commercial? Where
No.
he's pouring liquor on a phone? No? Okay. No.
Wait,
No.
Wait, hold on. First of all,
What channel was that on?
Honestly, I don't even know what channel. I saw it on Twitter.
I saw him lay it out on something, though. It looked weird, so
He
it
was
may
like
have been a
showing that a
screenshot from
phone
that.
was waterproof and he poured liquor on it. No? Okay, never mind.
Shout out to Lil Wayne.
Shout out.
Right?
Yeah,
Shout out
okay.
to him being back on the scene. I felt like
Crispy
that
and
was the first
Clean.
time
Collard
seeing
Grove is the jam. The whole album
Yes.
is the jam. I love it.
I still didn't listen to it yet.
Yeah. And he's
Shout out
been
to
holding
Wayne and
Toya
2
right
Chainz.
down in her divorce, too. Like, yeah, well, okay, so here we go, y'all. A little petty information, inside info. So, bust this, right? So, Toya and Memphis didn't split up. Okay, that's over, right? They act like they're gonna rekindle, but that's completely over. So Toya has been on tour with Wayne. Yes. And he's been like in clubs, they show him hugging other women and shit, but she's like, if you follow her Instagram and if you look at his and other people that are associated with the tour, same hotels, same background, same everything. And Toya had just did an interview saying how she was on the Breakfast Club, saying how, you know, she doesn't like for rap, if she was to date another rapper, she wouldn't let them play like their music where they speak about, you know, like sex.
Oh,
and
yeah, I did see that.
she don't play that shit. And they were like, well, Wayne don't play his music in front of you. And she was like, he would never. She was like, he would never. So I just was fascinated by their relationship dynamic. Don't know why the hell we're talking about that. But yeah, that's a little tidbit.
There has to be something to be said about Toya, though.
Yeah.
Like Toya has been around forever, and she's just always out here like grinding and working and doing
And
her
she's
shit.
beautiful.
Oh my god.
Beautiful. You
I
know?
just love
my
the New
God.
Orleans accent.
Me too. I love it.
Yes.
I was going to do it, but then I stopped.
I thought you was about to do it. So I was like,
Because
is
you
she
know it's
do
about to
it?
be horrible.
Nah, I'm not even gonna do that. My damn self.
I won't do it to y'all. New Orleans.
Ooh. Speaking of doing it, no, I'm just playing.
The sex episode. No, I'm just playing.
Sex. Now that we have your attention.
Okay, everybody is set up in their seat now. Like, oh shit. It's
Okay,
that kinda
welcome to the
week
Friend
now.
Zone, the show that y'all thought I was gonna forget to say this, but I'm not.
So take your
The
shot.
show that focuses on mental health, mental wellness, well-being in general, you know, and mental hygiene. Because who in the hell wants a musty brain?
Not I.
Question still stands.
So on last week's show, we discussed Kalani's Instagram post and deletion of her Instagram and discussed basically whether mental health is invalidated when it is posted on social media. And a lot of you had really, really interesting things to say. So guys, let me know what stood out to you.
So I thought this was funny, Baby Air, okay? And yeah, her Twitter handle is at UPPERCASC_C. So at uppercase C is her Twitter handle, right?
I was like, wait, Baby Air spelled UPP.
I know, it's just a lie, right?
Wait.
I try to say their name and their handle because, people dumb and don't know how to just pick one part and look for that. So I try to say both. But anyway, her tweet says in all caps, "Forget you, Dustin Ross. I'll never hear that Johnny Cash song in its proper context again. I walk the line." So I'm glad she was paying attention when we were talking about pubic hair and the importance,
I died listening back to that part.
That's right. She got the "I walk the line" Johnny Cash reference. So shout out to her for being smart. You know what I'm saying? People need to understand the correlation between smart and funny. You got to know enough shit to be able to pull something to make something funny. Right. So when people get the joke, it's the most gratifying thing ever. Like, I'd buy you a drink if I could, boo.
What about you, Asante? What'd you find?
So this one comes from Tashi in the emails, and they basically said, "I wanted to comment on the suicide topic. I'm 23 years old, so I'm not too far away from this artist's age. I'm a very emotional person, and my mom has also taught me to kind of keep things to myself. So not being able to express your feelings to people sometimes drive you nuts. And I believe a lot of people my age know that. So, however, we take to social media to vent. No, it's not smart, but when you feel like you have no one else, there are billions of people on the internet that are there and will read your post." She went on ahead to write on some more things, but it kind of resonated with me when she was saying, her mom taught her to keep things in, and so it's hard for her to vent, and so that's why she just vents on the internet. And so I was thinking about how, when my mom told me, or I just didn't let a lot of stuff out, but it doesn't incline me to want to run to the internet as much as it would want access to another person. And I think sometimes when you're lacking that, you think of all the people that are accessible on the internet. But in my mind, I'm like, you're not really sure who's going to get that or who's going to get it and use it for you or against you. So that's when it's just you throwing that in the dark. And that's why I get kind of uneasy from it. But I thought that was interesting, especially to hear from someone so close to Kalani's age. So hopefully she's not putting her business out there like Kalani is.
Yeah, and a lot of people I noticed were saying that they use Twitter to vent because sometimes it's helpful, or at least they use Twitter even to see who else is sad because it's helpful when they are not alone in their sadness. And I thought, of course, for all of us, I've seen people, people you admire and you see them having a bad day and you kind of feel like, wow, they have bad days, because even though people have bad days, but
I'll be let down. I'll be wanting motherfuckers to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? If I look up to you, I want to look up. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a bad day, you tell me about it, nigga, I need to know that you didn't ruin the fantasy and shit. I be feeling let down.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I just want to look up shit.
No, but that's real. And I think it was interesting when somebody, someone on Twitter actually, added another influencer and were like, because this person's always depressed and it makes me happy, which kind of embarrassed me because I was like, did you have to add her? But they were like, her depression helps me. Oh, don't try to figure out.
Not even in a bad way, but it was just
it was her. And they basically were saying that her depression and how open she is with it has granted them permission, which we've mentioned before on the show, granted them permission to be okay with their own internal conflicts and understanding that this is very normal. So in that sense, I totally understand. But my fear with that, which I've said before, is I never want people to bond in misery.
Right.
Because then you're like, oh, she's sad and I'm sad too. And I get it. It's helpful to know you're not alone. But then how are you fixing it? Because now you're just bonding in the misery and then what?
Both of y'all just sitting up there mad together.
Yeah, y'all are just tweeting sadness and it's just, and so there's a part of it that is helpful. but I don't know how healing that actually is at the end of the day. So that's my only concern with that. But I can see
True.
which is why I developed the mental hygiene series on YouTube, which I will be getting back to this month, because it was my way of, yes, I want you to see that I'm going through a lot of complications in my life, but I also want to show you how I'm fixing it in hopes that it resonates with you and hopefully make something in you click like, oh my God, this is what I can do for me too, So to me, it's like I want to bring some resolution to your life. I don't have all the answers.
You got a lot
but
of them.
I give you perspective at least.
You got a lot of them because you were sitting up here talking about this and you were just looking so cute over here. I'm just like, man, you know how they always do the cliche, at least I don't look like what I've been through. Like, Fran, you are over here fly as hell.
Yeah, Fran, you do like it's been a lot of good days. Like your good days outweigh your bad days and you won't complain.
Okay.
You are so funny. No, but that's what I just want people to be mindful of. Be mindful of the things that you're attaching yourself to, because it doesn't always help.
Including waist trainers. I seen a motherfucker had insurance, had PLPD on his waist trainer. I seen a motherfucker had their waist trainer on their homeowner's insurance, man. That's a badass waist trainer. I seen a waist trainer with a seatbelt on that motherfucker.
What did you...
I seen a waist trainer with a pocket. What you need a pocket? What you putting in the pocket of a waist? Ain't no room.
A little wallet in there or some shit. I bet bitches in the hood be leaving their house with their waist trainer on.
I seen a waist trainer jumpsuit. I seen a bitch with a short set waist trainer. So what the fuck this bitch got on? The ice capades? What the fuck is...
Okay, but look, I've seen a waist trainer with like one of them like lace backs on them. Mm-hmm. Like it had a train.
Like the ass on it.
No, what do you mean they had a train? Stop it.
Yeah. Like almost like a French maid.
The waist trainer fashion show?
Oh my God.
No, I'm not
I know what I'm talking about. Love and Hip Hop.
Did you tell us about
Yeah, she really had a waist trainer.
Yes.
But what I'm talking about.
What you talking about? No, she was putting the waist trainers on, and they had on like bodycon outfits and shit. I was like, "This is not an
like
outward accessory."
The print matched the dress. So if like the dress was leopard, the whole waist trainer was leopard too.
Or like something complimentary, or just off kilt, like
one girl didn't one of them have a hoodie, have a waist trainer hoodie. It had a hood up on her head.
Now y'all just making shit up.
She bitch had a waist trainer, motherfucking waist trainer, a short sleeve waist trainer. What the fuck this bitch got on, man?
Okay,
so Fran, what did you see?
So on SoundCloud, Olivia Fumilola Cole said, "Hey y'all, love your podcast."
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't.
You did
I'm
that
21.
shit,
You
Fran.
saw that, right?
That
Smooth.
looked real sexy when you said it.
Yes.
I was like, she got it.
I hope I said it properly. I'm 21 and I recently unplugged from all forms of social media except for Tumblr. I did so because it wasn't healthy for me mentally. It's been 3 months and I feel like a weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. For a long time, I struggled with my looks and I recently lost weight. I'd post a lot of pics of myself, journey, or just selfie of my outfits. At first, people cared and I'd get a bunch of likes. But after a while, the likes stopped and the depression started to kick in. People stopped caring about my journey. In January, I decided to explore why I felt the need to seek out validation from other people via social media. I've observed all of my friends and people my age and other millennials, and I've noticed that a lot of us talk about depression and feelings of worthlessness. I've come to the conclusion that it's linked to social media. A lot of us get on Facebook and we put out our best face forward and no one is actually getting the full picture, not even ourselves. We rely on the validation that we get from others to tell us who we are instead of figuring it out ourselves. So I love the fact that she tapped out of social media as a whole to actually like figure herself out. And it was triggered by the fact that she was like depressed because she wasn't getting likes on her journey. And I thought that was important because that's the point I was trying to make in the last show, that with Kalani, what worried me is the need for people to know what she was going through. And like you said, it's a generational thing. Like now it's the generation of sharing and oversharing. But I was just hoping that she took the time to get help.
Yeah. Right.
Offline, with the real people in her life that can touch her and make sure she's okay. And because likes and comments, they're helpful, and like
they could be hurtful
but
too.
they also could be very triggering. So I thought this comment was amazing because you guys know I'm a huge advocate of self-care and reflection and isolation, which I think people don't do enough of. So thank you.
What did she keep? She got rid of all the social media except what?
Except for Tumblr.
Everybody know what's on Tumblr. That's where the porn and the good porn and the news, the people you know and shit.
I was just about to say, for me, Tumblr is the first to go.
Talk about causing, inciting depression. Let me tell you. She kept Tumblr for a reason. You ain't slick. I got rid of everything except Tumblr. I said,
Because look, when Facebook bought Tumblr, there was some changes, but there's still some things on there.
Y'all a mess. Olivia's out. I'm like, no.
Okay, she's like, damn, they got me figured out.
She at home like, yes.
So that's it for this week's recap session. And Dustin has an awesome conversation for us to get into this week because it's very personal for him.
Yes, it is. And so I thought that this was the right place and the right time to have this conversation, and definitely the right way. So most people may not know this. Some of you do. If you don't, it's probably none of your business. That's why you don't. But now I'm sharing. So I'm actually from Flint, Michigan. That's where I was born and raised. And now the city is going through a water crisis that is getting headlines and attention all over the world, as it should, because it's deserving of that. The water is poisoned, okay? And the people that are consuming this water and using it are poisoning themselves. And it's a damn shame the way that these rotten people in positions of power have abused their position and allowed this to happen out of greed, selfishness, and just general deftness, period. So today we have a special guest in the studio who is actually one of my best friends. We've been friends since 1994. She has a birthday that just passed, so happy belated birthday to her, and she is definitely older than me.
God damn.
And
she's like, thanks.
Yeah, we do. We have a guest. We have Jasmine in the studio today. Hi, Jasmine.
Welcome. Hi, Dustin.
Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
That's
Thanks for that introduction.
Mm-hmm.
You should beat his ass.
You're more than welcome. Not to that,
later.
but you're welcome to the introduction. All right.
Hi, my God.
So Jasmine here is a current resident of the city of Flint, Michigan.
Wow.
Jasmine was also born and raised in Flint. She's very well aware of what life was like before this crisis occurred. And so she's here to offer some perspective and insight to that. Also to what it is like living day to day in the city of Flint and having to come into contact with the water for some usage of some sort whatsoever. And I just thought, instead of us all opining, instead of us all reading these headlines, writing these stink pieces, instead of all of this shit, why don't we just get it? Y'all know I'm a real nigga. You know, I get it straight from the horse's mouth. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going to do today. Welcome, Jasmine, to the Friend Zone.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Let's start by you telling us when this issue first occurred, what made you notice it. Just tell us the story from the beginning.
Well, the issue started when, back in 2014, they decided to, well, no, let me go back even further. Let's go back to when the governor decided that the state should take over the city of Flint.
Okay.
Being a ex-city of Flint employee, you know, you see a lot going on. A lot of cuts were made before that initial takeover was made. Made to save money, basically. They made cuts in every area, departments in the city of Flint. Okay. When the state took over, that's when the discussion of switching
the water supply,
which we were getting our water from Detroit, thinking that switching it would save money because they had also accrued a bill with the city of Detroit owing them money for the water that we were getting. So
When was that?
This was probably the first of 2014.
Okay.
After that, when they made the switch, well, in discussions of the switch, it was a lot of things that went on that they know now because of Congress, but the whole reason why they made the switch was to save money.
Okay.
The plan that was put in place for them to make the switch, they rushed it.
Mm-hmm.
Things that should have been done wasn't done to secure the city of Flint safety as far as making the switch. So when they initially made the switch to the Flint River, they would turn the fire hydrants on to flush, thinking that it was flushing the water out, and notify the residents on the news with giving us like a boiling water advisory, telling us to boil the water because it was contaminants. Not lead, just E. coli, contaminants, bacteria. Okay, so...
And this was when exactly?
Now, this was in April of 2014.
Okay.
So 6 months down the line, we're still getting these boiling water advisories telling us to boil the water. Luckily, you know, and this is what a lot of people don't understand is, you know, the people that it's affecting is the city of Flint, the people that live in the city of Flint. You know, you have Flint Township, you have Beecher, you have different counties that reside.
Suburban communities around
Right.
Flint.
So when you speak on the city of Flint, the residents that actually live in the city of Flint is your lower poverty majority, but that's not all that it's affecting.
Right.
You know, it's much broader. We're talking about
Restaurants.
Yep, restaurants, schools.
Mm-hmm.
Class people.
I was just supposed to go there with as far as you're talking about a city that was automotive, GM,
Vibrant.
growing town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I come from a 2-parent household. Both of my parents are retired from General Motors. Not poverty. We're not poverty stricken.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother, city of Flint, retiree. My grandfather, God rest his soul, he retired from General Motors.
So what you're
You know-
saying is that this is not the image that's being portrayed in the media of Flint being this poverty-stricken, barren battleground. You're saying that it's not just that. Yes, there are low-income residents, but this is affecting everyday people who have to get up and go to work and raise families and take care of children and do
You're talking
normal
about
functions.
Your working class.
Right.
Working class people, retire, your
Retirees. And,
retirees. It's not, and like I said, going back to it just doesn't affect the low class. I mean, you got your middle class. We're in a state where homeowners, how can you sell your house even if you have the means to relocate?
Right.
You can't
How
unload
can
the one you in.
You can't
Right.
just hand your house over.
Who's going to buy it attached to that water system? So that's another concern. So the impacts is what you're saying. There's so many more impacts of this situation than people are even bringing to light. And that's something that does deserve recognition. What about the day-to-day experience? When did you start noticing a change in your day-to-day usage of the water?
Back when I could ride down on the corner of my street. You go around the corner, they got the fire hydrants running. You just don't run fire hydrants.
No one.
You know.
That's
So that
one of the
was
New York
like
things.
I guess that was like my clue. So from then, in considering the source of where the water was coming from, I initially switched to bottled water.
Mm-hmm.
But that means your bottled water, we're using bottled water to brush our teeth in the morning, wash our faces.
So
to cook.
when you say, this is the part that I want people to understand. So when you say that you use bottled water to brush your teeth, tell me how you have to brush your teeth since you can't use the water that's running out of your faucet. What do you do?
I have to go get bottled water. I have a 4-year-old also. So We in the bathroom. I have to make sure, because, kids like to play in water. So I'm pouring the water on the toothbrush to put the toothpaste on. After she brushes her teeth, she rinses her mouth with bottled water. I wash her face with bottled water.
Oh.
The only thing we can't get around is
Bathing. Physically.
Wow.
And that affects you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter, I could say it's been maybe 9 months, about 6 to 9 months ago. I started noticing a sore on her head.
Oh, boy.
And, I took her to the doctor. They said, looked like she might have just scratched her head. It might be an infection. A couple weeks later, they give her antibiotics. She's on antibiotic for 10 days. After 10 days, I'm seeing that it's no change. It's actually
worsening.
Her hair, bald spot in the back of her head, caused by from me washing her hair in the water.
Wow. And you
So
saw
that's
it
what I
on
say.
the news.
It's not just lead. It's other bacteria and contaminants. That's also not only that, but let me go back to like when I said as far as April 2014.
Yes.
Seeing they were trying to, their scapegoat was, okay, the chlorine. And I could take a shower and it smelled like
you were in a pool.
Yep.
Wow.
That's how strong the chlorine smell would be.
Wow.
But with that, that's what caused the corrosion in the pipes.
Have you found that because I know a lot of celebrities have kind of teamed up to donate bottles of water. Have you felt that was helpful?
Of course, yes. But that's not a solution to the problem.
Absolutely.
How does it work though? Like, do you have? I know they have like different sites.
Yep,
and
distribution centers. That,
right. But how does it? Because if you're using bottled water for all of these small details throughout the day, how often are you going to, grab more and more bottles? And how is it enough for all of these neighborhoods?
It's not.
Wow.
It's not. It's not at all.
So, okay. We're really inquisitive because obviously this is something that it's hard for anybody to wrap their brain around, not being able to use the fucking water in the faucet, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So were people just dropping? Would you wake up and see like cases of water on your porch?
Doorstep,
You would.
About, usually like for a good 2 months, every Saturday morning it would be a group, either from United Way. Or then you would have just kind-hearted people from Detroit that would come up and just ride down with a U-Haul.
Wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
My job, like I work for Chrysler, my local, UAW local, did a fundraising water drive, came up, brought waters, and they kind of like targeted the neighborhoods where like you're in your senior centers.
Yes.
Because, they're not able to get out.
Right. So
yeah.
kind of to go back, how are the businesses running without, like, I heard you say restaurants and stuff.
Well, they are required to have filters on their water systems, and the health department and the EPA are supposedly going there. They're supposed to be going there on a regular basis, like every week, to check their system and make sure that they're following the protocols.
That's bullshit. You can't tell me for 1 second. I don't think for 1 second that anybody. How you gonna follow the rules now? All of this is damaged because people weren't following the rules. So now we're supposed to trust the EPA and trust the health department all of a sudden that, okay, yeah, we messed it up, but here's what we're going to do to make sure that it's going to be all right. Nobody believes that.
And what about in the schools, too? Like the cafeterias and stuff like that?
Bottled water.
Just everywhere? Just
how do they wash their hands?
Bottled water. Wow.
Bottled water.
And are the politicians like openly discussing these things? Like, what I'm wondering what the news is like right now in Flint. Is it like an open discussion, or is it sort of still swept under the
Yeah,
rug?
no, it's an open discussion now because it has it's nationwide now.
Right.
You know,
Worldwide.
And they haven't like emails
Yes.
been exposed, and
Well, they did that because they had the investigation with the Congress, and they talked to the old mayor because we now have a new mayor. So they talked to the old mayor. I think it was the director of the region of the EPA that's in our region. And they did require, and even Governor Snyder, they required them to produce the emails dating back. And yes, the emails showed that they knew what was going on. It was concerns early on. They basically swept under the rug.
What do you want? What do people what do you want people to know that nobody knows? What do you not see in the media? What do you want as a resident of the city? And what do you foresee your future looking like living in Flint, Michigan? Like, what's the reality of your future for you?
The reality for me is to protect my daughter and the best ability that I can. And with that being said, it's my job to make sure that the quality of life is not deterred by someone else's decisions. So I'm in the process of trying to position us somewhere else, basically, because they have started replacing some pipes, but this is a process that can take years. And
and it must be hard to trust moving forward that after they've made these changes, they're going to keep up with them, or
It is, and that's what I'm saying. It's like even at this point, I don't trust anything that they say. To be honest,
yeah.
So your potential solve for this personally is for you to leave Flint.
Yes.
Okay. What
Yes.
Damn, that's just, it's hard for me to even listen to this. I can't lie.
Yeah.
Like,
It's crazy
hard.
because as a child, we didn't grow up
We
like
did
this.
not. We did not. We had some of the best water you ever could have. Look at me. No, I'm just playing. But we did have some of the best water that you could have. Now,
Seriously.
what about like the water bills? Were residents are they currently still required?
Yes, we are still getting water bills, and they are still requiring us to pay it.
wow.
Just the middle of March
But what are you paying
is
for?
when they said they were stopped. They were not going to send us a bill for that month. But with that being said, that they stopped it because they have got money to cover the residents' water bills, and they were supposed to be applying credits. So to me personally, that's their way of, because y'all getting all of this money and y'all still sending bills out. There's no reason why I should still be getting a bill in the mail for water that I cannot use.
Wow.
Why don't people just not pay the bill?
They stopped. A lot of people don't. But they are still cutting people water off.
It's already fucking cut off. Shit. It's
right,
off.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no water there.
There is no water. So, like, I don't understand why they would still be billing residents.
Because they
It's
said
terrible.
they have to, they still had to run down to City Hall. They was on the news, this is probably like maybe a couple months ago, and they had concerns because a lot of the residents were not paying their water bill. And their concern was as far as them running out of money downtown in the water department to be able to function.
And I don't know if this is correct, but I heard somewhere that they were also calling Child Protective Services because if you were not paying your water bill and
You don't have
cutting it
water.
off,
Yep.
so you don't have water, you can't
Wow.
properly take
I
care
heard
of your
they
children.
were threatening that. Is that
So
true,
they were
Jasmine? Are you
threatening,
kidding
right?
me?
They were
Oh my
threatening,
God.
parents by saying we will call Child Protective Service. So that was really happening.
Yes, I mean, especially, it's just, it's really unbelievable. I'm going to be honest. Like, we've been dealing with this since 2014, and it still baffles me, like, in disbelief, and, you know, you get angry because it's like, really? This is 2016. And you mean to tell me I can't drink water that's coming out of my faucet?
Yet somebody 10 minutes over from you in one of the surrounding areas or the suburban communities that surround Flint, they can.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you get 6 to 8 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, unique one-of-a-kind items, and more. Spring is springing, so grab a map, your bag of holding, and some friends. April's theme is Quest. We're forming a party to explore everywhere from far-off kingdoms to worlds hidden within worlds, with exclusive items from Labyrinth, Harry Potter, History Channel's Vikings, and Uncharted 4. And of course, we've got our t-shirt and loot pin to help you equip for your adventures. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive that month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. Make sure to head over to www.lootcrate.com/friendzone and enter code friendzone to save $3 on any new subscription.
I got you.
For those of y'all that were wondering who the female voice was in the back earlier, we have a bonus special guest.
Yes, we do.
In addition to the Dustin Ross, we also have the Daria Ross in the building.
Right, my sister. So if there was ever like a VIP of VIP, like this would be like the ultimate like VIP. So welcome Daria to the podcast, to the Friend Zone as a whole.
Hi,
This is your
guys.
podcast debut.
What's up?
Say hello. Now,
Hello.
let me set some fucking rules here, okay? Because you are my sister.
God, here we go.
Okay, you are older than me, but this is my damn house. Okay? And you're going to follow some rules up in here tonight, okay?
I'm going to let him run things
Thank you. Now,
briefly.
but all jokes aside, we thought it would be a great idea to have Daria contribute to this as someone who also used to live in Flint, Michigan, has personal, emotional ties, familial ties, all sorts of ties to the city and to the heartbeat of the city, and someone who knows the culture firsthand. We thought it'd be great to get your perspective as well from someone on the outside looking in. You haven't lived in Flint, Michigan for many, many years, but you are still close with, still visit frequently, you know, and go see several people that do live there. So what say you, Daria?
Well, just to add to some of the things that Jasmine was saying earlier, it is literally unbelievable. When you think about Flint and the Flint that we grew up in and that we know, it was vibrant. It was a working middle-class community, plenty of people who were educated, and the thought that they would change the water supply to the Flint River, growing up, if someone had said that to any of us, we would have laughed.
It would, exactly.
It would have been a joke, because growing up, it was a running joke that the Flint River was filthy.
Absolutely. We couldn't even go. We couldn't go nowhere near that.
We couldn't go anywhere near it. So
The Hudson is for us.
Right.
Right.
Like the
precisely,
Chattahoochee or Lake
precisely.
Lanier or
That's
some
it.
shit in
That's it
Atlanta.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So when I first heard that they were considering that switch, I thought to myself, "Oh, that won't happen. That won't happen." I really thought that. And when I think about the Detroit River and that water pipeline and that supply, it is coveted. That is some of the best water in the country.
Yes. Weren't they even considering, they were trying to,
There's always
they
been
were trying to
rumors.
figure out a way to bottle and sell the water in Detroit. They were going to bottle
Wow.
it. Yeah, it's that good.
And with all of the challenges that people know nationally when it comes to the city of Detroit, even that region, the one thing that city possesses is control of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And so the outlying communities That's always been a battle. Everybody wants that water. And Flint was a part of that pipeline for as long
Forever.
as forever. Right. Forever.
Right.
So what's up, Cardi B? Love you.
Right.
She really read Peter Guns the other night, but I'll let that go. Okay. So it just is unbelievable that this has happened. And so when I think about Jasmine's experience and what she's dealing with on a daily basis, opening a bottle of water to pour it, to brush teeth, to wash face, to wash your hair. When I think about my elderly aunts who still live in the city, who have contributed so much to the community, and they're dealing with this on a daily basis, it pisses me off. It's infuriating.
You can cuss if you want to.
I know I can.
Okay. No, because like our aunts listen, they still listen.
Yeah,
I cuss
they
every
still
week. They
listen.
listen. So you
I
can, girl, you
know.
can go ahead and let it
I
out.
know,
Shit.
Let loose.
Go ahead.
But it just it infuriates me. It makes me so angry. And you know, you mentioned the mayor. She inherited this situation. She's very passionate about wanting to fix things,
Yes.
but she's limited.
To what she
She's
can do.
limited, and you know they want to put all of these band-aids on it, but there are just the daily living, the way you have to function
Yes.
in this circumstance. It's infuriating, and it's going to be many, many, many years before there's ever any solutions, and the damage has been done. The impact of the lead poisoning that we see in children and in the elderly.
And even in pets.
And
Did you
in
see that?
pets, everything.
Dogs or pets
And
were
it
testing
isn't just-
positive for
It
lead.
isn't just
Dying.
lead. There's Legionnaires. My
That'll really fuck you up.
my best
It's
friend,
deaths.
she works at one of the largest hospitals, which is a dynamic hospital.
Yes, it is.
And she said she's seen so many people, their illnesses just progress at a much more rapid rate
Wow.
than ever before, and she really attributes it to the water. So this is beyond, I think, what any of us can ever comprehend or imagine, and it's heartbreaking. It pisses you off. You're angry.
Has there been any progress whatsoever?
I mean, they've started replacing some pipes, but I mean, just like Darren
That
just said,
has
this-
just begun.
yes.
Within
few
the
weeks ago,
past,
yeah.
within the past, I was going to say within the past 2 months.
So
but-
now here's what I don't understand, right? Because they can't just start putting in pipes. Like, what have they said? Have they presented a plan to the residents? Like, okay, the work starts on April 15th. Will be done on April 21st of 2017 is our estimated completion date. We're doing this area on
A
these
complete
days.
plan?
What are they saying? Or y'all just see motherfuckers digging on the corner? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, they've presented not a complete plan, a partial plan, if you want to call it, as far as they have started, like Darius said, I don't even, maybe a month, but
So what did they say to you? When
They
you say they
maybe
presented
did-
a partial plan, how did they present
as
it to
far
you?
as they don't present it on the news?
You said that they've presented a partial plan, right?
Yes.
What did they? How did they offer that information to the residents? Was it on the news?
Yes,
was
it was
it
on
a
the
press
news.
conference? Like, what happened? And
Well-
what did they say?
It was presented at the city council meeting,
Okay.
which is something that they have every Monday
Mm-hmm.
down at the city hall. So when they presented, of course, the news was there. That's how the rest of the residents know.
So
That's how I
what did
know.
they say their
They
plan
basically
was?
said that they're going to start certain streets replacing pipes. They've picked a few select homes where they will begin that process. And that's it, Dustin.
That's it.
And
That's it.
And have they given any
I
sort
follow
of?
this story closely. You know that.
So have they given any sort of estimation, like
No,
of
they
how?
can't.
They're not that
First of
far.
all, they don't have all of the funding. You have to remember there's all sorts of finger pointing going
Right.
on.
Yeah.
You know, you've got state officials, you've got the EPA, you've also got city officials. Everybody is pointing fingers and
Right.
saying you did this.
Pointing
so
fingers.
they're wasting time
Finding resolution.
pointing fingers as opposed to finding resolution. So It's
That's
typical
Right.
politics. It's
Yep.
typical bullshit.
Yeah. That felt good, didn't it? You've been
Shut
wanting to
up.
cuss this whole
I have
time.
not been wanting
She
to
trying
cuss.
not to cuss, y'all, because she trying to do it right. Bless her heart. She trying to be right and be a good representation, and that's why I love you. But you can go on and say bullshit on the friend zone if you want to.
I'll say
Go
it for you
ahead.
because this is some bullshit.
It's unbelievable.
Straight
I know.
from the
Looking
bulls.
at your faces, you can't even believe it. So
Yeah,
imagine
because-
how we feel when we look at the news or we look in the media and we see what is depicted.
Exactly.
We went to blue ribbon schools. We got some of the best education
Yes.
that the public school system can provide. And to hear that now they don't have the funding for school nurses to help monitor these circumstances with these poor babies and these children that have been impacted. It's heartbreaking.
It is. I mean, even to the point, you talking about the schools. Let's talk about how many schools that they have closed.
And for what?
And I also want to say one other thing.
Funding, money.
Funding, money.
Making cuts.
But this is about, obviously, we know that it is about racism and communities that are primarily minority communities. But this is about classism.
Yeah, social.
This is not just about the obvious, because there are so many communities who could have had the exact same challenges and they would have gone a different route. This didn't have to happen.
And I think that's a great point to pin that discussion. So thank you both so much for offering your perspective.
One quick question.
Go ahead, yeah.
What would you say is the best way that we can help?
Yes.
Is it by sending, bottled water? Are there specific online sites that are reliable that we know we are donating money, it is going directly to those who need it, or maybe specific GoFundMes? Like, how can we send the help that is needed, and what
Right.
do you think is the help that is needed?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I simply feel that sending bottled water, while that is an immediate need and it helps, it is a band-aid. It is not a solution. I want Jasmine to chime in because I do think, while there aren't very many, there are some organizations where you can donate where I think it will make a significant impact. But I'd like for Jasmine to speak on that further because she's there.
Donating water, it is just a Band-Aid. But there is a lot of people that can use the bottled water. As far as sending money, I really can't tell you because, that's why we're in the position we're in now
I think
because
we
of the
can-
way that they was handling money. So,
And I think you have to, precisely, I think you also have to put tremendous, and I mean tremendous pressure on people who are responsible.
Absolutely.
So if that means, while we're here in New York, we have to get involved. We have to write to the people that are in control here and say, put pressure on Congress, put pressure on the Senate to get funding. They need immediate funding. Right now, there's a rainy day fund that the state of Michigan has, and there has been some pressure to force the governor to open that fund up, but they are dragging their feet. It's a turtle crawl. It really is. But I think that we have to continue to create awareness. So this forum is great. And we also have to continue to put pressure on people who are in positions of power and authority.
exactly.
And
Yep.
shame the hell out of them.
'Cause
And
what
that's
it boils
fun
down
anyway.
to. But just to piggyback off of what Daria just said, you're doing a lot now. The awareness, bringing it to the awareness of people, so that people in power can help make a difference.
And be held accountable.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah, and thank you, because I think the thing about crisis is that we see so many different ones that you almost become numb to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to see like Flint on the, and then you
Right.
kind of can scroll past it or change the channel. And after a
Exactly.
while, you're just like, oh, just another crisis. But hearing firsthand, stories, especially knowing what the day-to-day is like, it like puts it into perspective,
Yeah.
because you start picturing yourself in that position, and then suddenly it becomes very human and very real.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing those stories with us. Hopefully,
Yes.
we will all be motivated to help in whatever way that we can, especially even just putting it on this platform for those.
just
'cause,
getting that conversation
yeah,
going.
people around the world are listening. So, like she said, put the pressure on the people in power, the people that are to blame.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because
So-
because you saying that this has been going on since 2014, like I think it's only been made light to me over the past like few
year,
months.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So to sit here and hear that all of this has been going for so long, it's just terrible to listen
Surreal.
to. So
And hopefully your daughter feels better soon. I can't imagine. I saw that someone on the news, it was a lady, her hand was like completely rotted. Just a
Jesus
lot of
Christ.
stories that have just been devastating. But thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you
For
for having
speaking.
me.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking, Daria. Thanks for chiming
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Right, so I'm like, wow, how do we
Man, because I'm really just
segue?
sitting here thinking, like, in New York City, if something like that were to happen, and we all are sitting up here with a bottle of water, and to do our day-to-day on the subway, and
I
even
couldn't
just
even
businesses
imagine.
trying to run, it's just
Even
it's so
just
hard
when they
to-
cut our water off for one day, it's
Yeah.
like I go crazy. It feels
Yeah.
like my whole life is turned upside down. Imagine 3 years.
it being a regular routine.
Yeah, I can't. Wow. Well,
Yes. Well.
exactly. I actually had a whole different wellness segment planned, but I actually just got inspired to do a different one that kind of ties into this hot button issue, just because you guys know, I think the flow of it, I'm just like,
Yes.
okay,
Right.
what can we do to make it
What's moving you?
right, moving me? So, okay, so one thing that has been helping me with my life and things that have been difficult and trying to navigate, how the everyday life can just be hard. Can imagine for those in Flint. So even hearing stories like this puts so much into perspective of what we take for granted. And I think it's really easy on the day-to-day to complain and to be frustrated at work, whether it's with your family, your friends, even just social media, just everyday things. But I think one thing I'm learning is the more not saying that I'm happy all the time, because I don't even think that's humanly possible,
Okay.
but I'm grateful all the time. And so when I think about the things in my life that are working, the things in my life that are allowing me to be happy and at peace, the littlest things, I have started to write them down on a daily basis. And I started this thing where it's like a gratitude jar.
I was about to say, is that a gratitude pad?
Yes, and you could do
But
a
it's a
pad.
jar.
No, a pad is
No,
fine.
we on the same page. Go ahead.
What about a Crown Royal bag? I'm just playing.
That
Go
works
ahead.
too. But the reason I like putting a mason jar and and what I do is before I go to sleep now, the reason I started doing this is because a friend of mine told me one time that the more you talk to God, the universe, whoever it is that you feel connected to, about the good in your day before you go to sleep, the universe kind of starts shifting to bring you more of that feeling. Because
I'm doing it. Sorry,
Right.
go ahead.
Because
I'm
what
doing
it does is,
I have the perfect jar.
because most people live in a space of lack, meaning they're always concerned about what's missing, where they haven't reached yet, and it's always this feeling of lack. But when you flip that to the other side and you say, okay, I might not have X, Y, and Z, but I'm so thankful for A, B, and C, because without this, my life wouldn't be what it is today. And you just have to basically show God and the universe that even with the little you may have, you're making it work and you're so open to more of it. And so everything starts shifting to bring you more of it because that's what life wants for you. And I think people forget that. Like we get so caught up on the fact that life is suffering and, you know, trials and tribulations, which it is. But like we said last week, joy is pain management. It's not that life's ever going to be easy, but it's just figuring out how to navigate those ups and downs. I always say I never ask for an easier life, but I just ask for a stronger back. So I think
I'm gonna caption my next Instagram picture that I am. So text me that.
You was so funny. So because of that, what helps me navigate through my day to day is. What gives me a stronger back, I should say, is before I go to bed, I take a little piece of paper and I'll write down, it could be one thing, it could be 5 things, 10 things, all the good things that happened to me today. Everything. It could be the smallest detail, someone that smiled at me and it made me feel nice.
That always makes me feel nice.
Someone who said a sweet compliment. A lot of you send me really sweet emails and sometimes I'm like, this person is so nice. Like someone like this exists. They took time out of their day to tell me how, you know, like to think that there's such good energy in the world and it exists and it's real and it's circulating and we just need to latch onto it to make it bigger and circulate more. No, because it's a lot of different ones.
You know, just in case.
but imagine it's like at so and so.
Okay, but for the bonus though, do you put a stone in the jar next to it? And if so,
that's
which
actually
one?
Really cute.
Boom.
You just made
the
a
bonus,
whole like
the bonus wellness. There you go.
And don't wash it either. Let the jar get a little murky. That's good for it too.
No, but this is what happens. The reason I like with you are so.
That's good. That's good for it too. Well, you the one, Fran, them essential oils and shit. I know some of that still be on your hands sometimes. So if I saw your jar with them prints, I'd be like, see, it's really blessed. Like it's got everything on it. Like the jar, the stones, the shit on the paper. Go ahead, Fran.
But I want you every night before you go to bed, jot down all the things that were good to you today. Everything.
What if they lay in there next to you? No, I'm just playing.
I mean,
Go
that
ahead,
too.
Fran.
Write that down so that you can get more of that. So then you're going to rip up each part and you're going to put it into the jar. And what happens, the reason I like the jar rather than doing like a gratitude list or pad is because by the end of the month, you see how full that jar is. You see your abundance right there in your face. And then it begins to change your perspective because you realize this is all the good I have in my life. And it allows you to shift your focus. Because now what you're doing is you're going to bed thinking of the good.
That's right.
So you wake up thankful for the good.
That's right.
And then you get more of it and more of it and more of it because it almost changes.
Hey, how do you like it? How do you like it? More.
I'll tell you how I like it when my jar has been filled.
I used to love that song, Sidebar, since we're talking about Michigan.
Right.
They used to play that song more when the Pistons would score and be dribbling down the court. They would play that at the games. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But I just think it's really nice. Like I said, it shifts your whole state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can focus on the good, like I said, you'll just receive more of it. Be open to receiving more of it by acknowledging the good that's already there.
I love this.
Yeah. And like I said, and you can decorate the jar all cute. You can put it wherever. I have it by my nightstand. And it's really nice as you see it filling up.
I have
know?
a ghetto Voss glass water bottle in my house that I'm going to fill up.
Not the Voss water bottle.
So you couldn't tell me
That's the
shit
really
when I
tall
have
one,
one.
right?
That's what I
That's
keep my
lit.
change in before I take it to the TD Bank.
So look, though, on a petty note, right? So, like, say you go with somebody or whatever and you can't stand them. Like,
Oh, my God.
you can make the same jar, right?
Oh, no.
And put lines with a marker on the jar like, I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? The next line up say, one more time. You know what I'm saying? The next line up say, I'm leaving you, nigga. And then the next line up, it ain't nothing. It's just the end of the job because you gone. So you can have that too and use a bright, like
and
red
what would
post-its.
you call the jar, Dustin?
Huh?
What would you call the jar?
The nigga ellipses. That's what the jar would be called. N-I-G-G-A
You know what?
dot. That's the jar.
You might need to take that out and save that for like urban or something. Because that would be cute.
I could sell that,
You
right?
could.
So if anybody
You
want to
could.
buy that, I
You
make
know
it.
what's funny? Urban
Email
totally
me.
would
They
sell that.
would. When he said it, I was like, oh, hell no. I see that sitting on a shelf right now at Urban and their
And then all the
Furnishes or some
stink
shit.
pieces.
So I make them, and if y'all want to buy them, email me at the show. Y'all know what the email is.
So that's the wellness segment for today. I hope that it can bring you some peace with all the
Yes.
craziness that's happening in the
Maybe
day-to-day.
even a piece, depending on what you're thankful for at
Hey
the end of the night. Yeah. Bevel is the first and only shaving system designed for men with coarse, curly hair and sensitive skin, i.e. black men. Clinically proven to reduce and prevent razor bumps, discoloration, and irritation, there is a definite reason that 9 out of 10 Bevel customers come back month after month. Up to 80% of black men and women struggle with razor bumps, and up to 30% of all men and women encounter razor bumps as well, and some of you fall in those percentages. This bevel razor uses a single blade that cuts hair above the skin, not beneath, so you can avoid those painful ingrown hairs. They couldn't even get the word right. That's how bad those hairs are. So designed from the ground up to give you a smooth and bump-free shave, Bevel's end-to-end shaving system includes a pre-shave oil, badger brush, safety razor, blades, shaving cream, and a cooling, restoring balm. It's created by the genius himself, Tristan Walker, who was a young entrepreneur that saw a void in the health and beauty market and filled it. So get Bevel. Log on to getbevel.com today. Enter code FRIENDZONEFREE at checkout. You get your first month free. Who don't like free shit? Okay? So go over to getbevel.com today and enter code FRIENDZONEFREE. And as soon as you use the razor, your voice automatically sounds like this. Let's get back to the show.
So Asante, what's today's icebreaker? What do you have for us?
Well, because it's so fucking cold outside and I miss summer so much, I was thinking about just naming some of your favorite things about summer in New York City.
Oh,
Because it is fastly
nostalgia.
approaching.
I feel like we love our little nostalgic segments.
You know, I'm actually about to admit this, and one of my favorite things about summer in New York is not wanting to go, but actually going to brunch. Because I never want to go to them brunches, but when I get there and when we like in there and we doing it,
Lituation every
I don't
time.
be remember half of it, but I'll be like, damn, we had fun at brunch yesterday. Like
Yeah.
I don't remember and I don't know how I got home or why I went to sleep at like 6 or 7. But brunch was fun as fuck. So I'm looking forward to all of those this summer.
Yes, even this spring.
Even this spring.
Even this week.
Even this week.
Hey, so, yes. And
Summer in NYC. I think my favorite part is probably like the street fairs and the festivals.
I thought you was going to say street fights. That's how I was going to be like, I was just about to say
Could
that.
you imagine? A gratitude jar, and then I'm talking about street
Right.
fights are my favorite part.
What's your favorite part? You know, people get into it outside.
Imagine she puts that in her
People
gratitude
get their
jar.
asses
Like,
beat.
watch Nick get his ass beat today.
I love
it up
that shit.
Could you imagine?
Put it on your site. Yeah.
Oh my God. No, but I love like Afro punk.
I do too, Fran.
Afro punk, and then how Harlem and Brooklyn has like random music. Oh, Summer Stage in Central Park, and you can see random music shows for free. And then they have that park. What's the Prospect Park?
Prospect Park,
where they
yeah.
have the free concerts. We're all music heads, so
Free
I
shit.
love the free music. To
Free
me,
shit.
that's like the epitome
Love
of
it.
summer, when you have your pretty like flowy summery dress on and then you're drinking with your friends in the park and it's
And like
hot.
I'll have on like some basketball shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Of course
and a
you
white
would.
beater, I'll be feeling real cute. I understand.
You know.
Yeah. Like, I completely understand what she's.
That's your
I
summer
totally
dress,
understand what she's
a white
talking
pair and
about.
basketball shorts.
I mean, it's the same thing. You know, it's a sundress.
Listen.
It's
It's
guys,
the
sun
guy's
shorts.
version of a
you know what I'm saying?
sundress.
Yeah, it's sun shorts.
Sun shorts.
That's it. But I agree, though, Fran. That's
Yeah,
one of
what's
my
your
favorite things.
part?
Where's your Ivy Park?
If I had to pick like a favorite part of summer in New York City, right? Going inside somewhere with air conditioning because it'd be hot as hell. And this is like a totally different kind of hot, right?
I love it.
You walking.
That sweltering
you
heat, that
sticking.
Spike Lee movie heat.
That is what
It
that
is.
shit
You
is
wake up
too.
sweaty
Look,
as hell.
it is that Spike Lee shit.
I love
And it's
it.
great, but there's a
That
buy-in
do the
involved.
right thing ass heat.
There's a buy-in involved that I think people don't know about. Like, Fran, you're right. I'm right there with you. Fran, you know how I roll. I'm right there with you. I love that moment. But a part of me had to surrender a little bit because, like we said about how we grew up, where we came from and shit, we didn't play that being outside, getting funky shit, and, you know, smelling like outside and sweating
Smelling
and
like outside.
clothes leaning and hanging out right. We didn't like that. And so, but coming to New York, the freedom that I feel when I am in those moments and when I go to festivals and when I meet beautiful strangers on the street, and we both sweating, but we both hot.
And
You know what I'm
tan
saying?
and
Like
bronzy.
that's like that. I get it and I feel you. And so one of my favorite things to do in summer in New York City is explore. I've had so
True.
many magical moments like that I've talked about on this show where I have literally just been on foot walking around this city and finding different areas, different businesses, different parks. I love being in the park and going by the water.
That's the only
Exhibits.
time I like going to Brooklyn.
Yeah, because they be having some.
Okay. Because when it's cold, I'm not going.
Even
the
when it's
only time I
hot.
hop
Look,
on that
when it's hot,
train.
it's still a select trip.
Listen,
Select trip.
Okay.
that Brooklyn journey is real. People don't understand.
They don't.
Like that is a walk to remember. Like, going to Brooklyn. Like,
And depending on what hour it is, you might not make it back.
You might not.
And depending on what
when
train,
you
you
cross
ain't gonna
that
make
bridge,
it
y'all
there.
thought Lil Kim was lying.
Look,
Huh.
I see why Babs was not walking
Me
to
too.
Brooklyn to
And
get
people
Diddy
in
no
Brooklyn are
motherfucking
always
cheesecake.
like, "Oh, I live close to the train,"
Because I
Yeah,
would
okay.
not.
and you walking 15 minutes
Yeah.
later. Like, did you say building 3?
Right. Close to the train. Yeah, if I get off the damn bus.
God, I'm walking to Brooklyn to get Diddy no motherfucking cheesecake.
Okay.
I would have, at the time, had I known, I'd be like, I'm not either, girl. I'm right there with
Look,
you.
Assante, and then I would have chimed in. This is crazy.
Dustin goes second.
I always go second. I'm telling you, it's crazy. That's why I would have looked at you. Think if
Look,
me and you was in that situation.
We would have been
I
right
would have
there.
looked at you. I'd be like, Fran, did he just say walk to Brooklyn?
Yo, he said walk, y'all. He didn't even say take a Uber.
I'm done. I'd be like, ain't enough singing in the world for you to get me to walk to Brooklyn.
And then it's a bad boy contract. too.
Right.
That they are probably all still in.
Right.
If they gonna be
Today.
if they gonna be
Today.
at that
And broke.
reunion show, then I guess they didn't sign up for nothing. They had security years down the road. But we're not gonna get into that.
So it's time to go into asking for a friend, no?
Yeah, I was thinking of one of them cheers because you're like, it's time to go into, and then somebody be like, what would you do next or some shit, but it didn't come together in time.
Ty will add that part in.
All right. So now the next part is asking for a friend. No, that would be terrible if we did that shit. Moving left and right along. As always, don't forget to email us at thefriendzone@loudspeakersnetwork.com. That is thefriendzone@loudspeakers.com, not at thefriendzone@loudspeakers.com, in case you just did not. Loudspeakersnetwork.com, by the way. I'm having an off day because it's my turn to be juicy mouthed it.
Ain't she pregnant?
Who?
One of them little people
Not
on the show is
Juicy,
pregnant. Is it Juicy?
Juicy is the name of one of them.
Hand to God.
What is
no,
this?
Hand to
no,
God.
lost.
No,
Hand to
I
God.
just
One
got
of
it
them
together.
little women of Atlanta is pregnant by a full man. Like
One
it's not
of them
a.
little women of
Yeah,
Atlanta.
she's a little person.
There's a show?
Yes. in Atlanta, so it's a black one,
full
Fran.
man.
Yes, they had Little Women first, not the novel. They had Little Women. It was a show or whatever. But now they got Little Women of Atlanta, Fran. It's a black one. So imagine like the Housewives of Atlanta, but can't nobody get on the ride. They gonna get me. I don't care.
Gonna get us both this week.
Fran, imagine like Housewives of Atlanta, but can't nobody ride the ride at Six Flags and shit. No, I'm just playing. I got love for everybody. I'm just playing. It's just comedy.
The
It's jokes, right?
The pen's revving up for the
It's just jokes. Y'all know it was funny. Now, one of them little heifers is pregnant though by Pastor Troy. I swear to God, in my life, one of them is pregnant.
At Loudspeakers Network.com.
I'm just telling y'all the truth. Like one of them is pregnant
That's
by
my
fucking
bad, y'all.
Pastor Troy.
Are
How
you
random
sure?
is that? Yeah, and they be on Instagram taking pictures and shit.
It is.
Go on,
I
Pastor
just
Troy.
don't want to engage.
Yeah.
It is.
Pastor Troy got one of them little women pregnant, dog. Pastor Troy.
Assante, save us.
Something for everybody.
He's not talking about Keeley.
Pastor Troy kept his Tumblr too, I guess.
Or Adrian.
I guess Pastor Troy kept his Tumblr too. Speaking of Adrian, I'm sorry,
No,
y'all. We just had a heavy show.
Gonna...
We just had a heavy show, and it was gonna be long. We know that, okay?
Oh my
but I need
God.
to laugh. So, speaking of Adrian, I just went to LA this weekend, and on the way back, I watched Creed for the first time. That movie was all that.
Creed?
Yes.
Which one
Creed was so good with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, I just
it was
saw
like the
it.
spinoff of
I
Rocky.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Fran. I was like, this is good. All the boxing and stuff. I was
He
like,
looked
this is
great,
good.
too.
He did. He was working out, and he had. You see all them Nike jogging suits he had on. You know, I wanted every one of them jogging suits. I was like, he looked all right, but I would have wore the shit out of that Nike jogging suit.
Only Dustin would look at it for the styling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Now. And yes, and our studio affiliate has shown us the Instagram receipt of Pastor Troy and the little mama he got pregnant. Hey, little mama, why you just so funky?
I'm never gonna get out of this room. like for y'all that are enjoying this long ass show, just know I did not want to be here for any of this.
Well, we only have time for one question today, so which one will it be?
Well, you know how I do, so it's not gonna be the long one. I love y'all, but y'all be saying some stuff in these emails. But
Encyclopedia Britannica.
for the ones I read, the long ones, sometimes y'all be putting some stuff in there. Do not send the screenshots, though, if y'all gonna leave your friends' names in there or them phone numbers. Not that I'm gonna call, but, you know, for your own safety.
Some of them emails be like, what was that thing that you go to the library and look up the old newspapers on? You
On the computer
Them foil
I'm never
things. What was
gonna
it called?
forget
That's how long them
where
emails
I
be.
need to
God
be.
damn, man.
Assante.
We're just gonna get it started. My man and I have been together for almost 5 years, and we've been through a lot. I mean, a lot. From me cheating, not sexually, but cheating is cheating, to financial hardships. While we've both been trying hard to make the relationship work, it just feels like it needs to be over. I get the feeling that he's only trying to be with me for the sake of our 2-year-old, and I admit that for a little bit, our child was my biggest reason for wanting the relationship to work as well. Lately, though, I'd just rather us co-parent. Not to be a couple, not being together anymore makes me uneasy, but I really think there's nothing else we can do for the relationship. I've heard a lot that it takes half the duration of your relationship to get over that person. No, it don't, boo. Sorry. I've heard a lot of it takes half the duration of your relationship to get over that person. And I guess what I want to know is if that may be true. I know you've mentioned having been in a 6-year relationship, Fran, and I'm interested in knowing if it took you 3 years to get over that relationship. I guess I'm trying to prepare myself for the unknown, as I am so used to being with this man. I don't care about dating others or anything like that. I just need to learn to be single. I feel like I'm rambling. Thanks so much for reading this. It's okay, girl. I be jumbled like that, so I get exactly what you be saying. Do y'all want to start or should I? Because I feel like I already said no. It should not take you half the time. Well, everybody is different. Let me start off with that. But in my own personal opinion, I do not feel like, or in, just seeing other people, I don't think it takes you half the time, depending on how long you've been in a relationship. But if you do feel that way and you were to believe that's true, wouldn't you want to get out as soon as possible because you don't want to be wasting half that time? But you also don't want to be wasting half that time on someone you're not with anymore. So just think about that when you're doing your time management tables. Someone else
tables. I think the fear of leaving is always like so much bigger than actually leaving.
That unknown.
Then once you leave, especially because you already know this is a lost cause, it's a relief because now you can move on. Like now you can begin to move past it and he can begin to move past it. So I think you're thinking about it too hard. And I know how it is because like you said, you have all these years behind you. You have a kid. But I know for me, anytime I've like overthought it, I just ended up prolonging it. And when you prolong it, it just makes it even worse because usually you have to wait till someone does something awful, like, where you guys start hating each other and then the relationship just gets a lot worse than it probably needs to be because no one knows when to let go. Like the worst breakups for me have been the ones that I just stayed too long, so I think if you're already feeling this, just go now. Trust me, just go now. Because my 6th year, a lot of that was us breaking up and just no one wanting to be the one to do it. And so we prolonged it to the point that now we don't even talk, and that's unfortunate. So I say you already know what it is. Have the conversation with him. And if you do it now, maybe you guys can salvage the friendship at least, which is nice, I think.
You already know. Big free to shout.
It's hard. I don't know. When you're in a relationship, it's hard sometimes to think about to even entertain the idea of going through the devastation that would happen after a breakup, right?
Right.
But let me tell you, like, being single is lit. Like, you can do whatever you want to do.
Coming.
He ain't going to be getting on your nerves. You ain't going to be getting on his nerves. The baby will be happier, not crying all the time and fussy because it feels the energy that y'all give off,
Of course.
You ain't got to deal with them shitty rides home in the car where y'all mad and ain't talking to each other. And
waking up with tension.
Can't stand his mama, don't want to be around her, but you got to be nice to keep peace. You ain't got to do none of that. Just go. You tired of him, he tired of you. Y'all can raise a really dope baby together. Just go. Like if you at this point, if you at this point in your gestation, you know what I'm saying, of leaving his ass, just go.
Because you want to leave.
Be single. It's about to be summertime. You can wear your sundress and get lit. There's festivals we was just talking about that we love. I don't know where you live, but I'm sure they have festivals everywhere.
Listen, go on HeyFranHey.com because I just posted 10 festivals that you have to attend in the
once
next
you leave
couple
your
of months.
nigga. 10 festivals for you to go to once you leave your nigga. That's what the post was.
I'm going to change the title.
Start the post. So you've left. Here's where you need to go.
Yeah, just go.
No, so you've left.
Do it. Get a revenge body. You know what I mean? To have the best summer you've ever had in your life. That's what I say. And don't be afraid. Dip a toe in that tub.
Don't be afraid. And
dip a toe in the tub.
And you asked about the time it took me to get over it. Because I was the one who left, it actually...
You was already over it.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Look.
No, it's true. Like
we all just shrugging our shoulders like, I mean...
Everybody's tipping the scales with their palms.
No,
like,
seriously, by the time because you already know it's over, it's been over. The fact you're emailing us is because you know it's over.
You just want to know how to make it easy when you leave. And there's no real way to answer that. You just got to go and figure out what the best way is when you go.
As soon as you have to ask someone else what they think about something, that means you already know the answer.
That's right. You just want to feel better about it.
Exactly. Right. So I think your process is not going to take a half of whatever the years y'all been together. It's already there.
But now, we're going to be smart. So
you are still
I ain't saying just leave now. What I'm saying is start putting your plan in motion to leave now.
Okay.
Start saving you some money that he don't know about because you're going to need it.
On a petty note.
This on a real note.
This on
a real note. Start saving you some money that he doesn't know about. You know what I mean? Start researching apartments, areas, schools, all that kind of stuff. Start dissolving the bills together in your name that you can without really setting off any alarms. You know what I mean? Just position yourself, because people are crazy. And sometimes when you've been in a relationship long term like that, people don't want to let it go. We've all seen snaps.
Oh, yes.
So just set yourself up,
Been there, done that.
position yourself so that when you shoot the shot, it's nothing but net, baby. You out of there. You leave him in the dust and have a great summer. That's
On that note,
Well,
do we have any church? Oh, no, we have the Black Business of the Week.
you have the Black Business of the
You
Week
sure
along
do.
with the church announcement.
Right?
Yes, you do.
We're gonna,
So come on and
A
give it to the
twofer.
people.
a twofer. So if you go on heyfriendhey.com, if you've
Where?
been following if you've been following heyfriendhey.com, you'll notice that today it's April too, my birthday month. It got a really cute facelift finally, because it's been so many years. You know, when you're putting off that thing you know you have to do. I was like, I have to fix
Several
this
of them.
site.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
right. One of many. So the site was one thing out. It's spring renewal. I was like, I need to start, focusing on the things that I've been putting off. And the first thing on my list was redesign heyfriendhey.com. And it finally launched today.
And it's beautiful.
So I'm so
Awesome.
excited. It's a really calming lavender
Yes.
color.
See that
So,
on the
you
phone?
guys can relax when you get out. Isn't it cute?
Yes.
The mobile is even cuter.
Right? So I wanted to shout out chrisdidit.com, because Crystal Rowry, she's a beautiful, amazing Black entrepreneur who does graphics, web design, web redesign. She's worked with a lot of amazing brands. She's done like Revolve Clothing. If you're like an online fashion person, she redid their site. So she's really amazing. I wanted to give her a shout out because she works so hard on my site. She's
It
so
do look good,
professional.
mama.
She gives you a timeline when you guys start and says, and it's literally a calendar broken down week by week of what's happening with your site. And she said to me, your site will be up by April. What's today?
Yeah.
By April 5th or the 4th. Is it the 5th?
Today's the
is.
5th.
Wow.
You
Time
missed
flies.
yesterday.
5 days from my birthday. Continue,
Yay.
friend.
She said your site will be up by April 5th. And you guys, it is up
It
on
is.
April
It's up
5th.
and it's gorgeous. That's Chris with a K, right?
It's KRISSDIDIT.com. Chris did it. And I had to shout her out because she is just, you know how when people say, oh, you don't want to work with Black people for certain things? No.
She's one that it's okay with her.
She, because we feel bad.
she all right.
No, like, we always get that bad
You're
rap,
right.
especially for things that are of importance, like website design and things that are like time sensitive. So I really wanted to take the opportunity to shout out her professionalism, her craft. She's so good at what she does. Check out heyfriendhey.com. That's my shameless plug as well.
Ain't no
And
shame.
we worked so hard on it for the past month. So hopefully it's user friendly. It's nice curated health for the life on the go.
It's beautiful, and I really like that feature you had at the bottom where it shows like your Instagram, right? It's like a
Right.
feed of your Instagram.
Yeah, and then there's a slider at the top that
Yeah.
shows you my top posts. So she just did such a great job. So I had to take the time out to give her that Black business shout out of
It's
the
beautiful.
week.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Chris, so much for your hard work. We had a blast making it too. So
Ish poppin'.
right, so that's it for the Black business of the week. What church announcements do you guys have this week?
Well, I have somewhat of a church announcement. Over the weekend, I was in Los Angeles. Had some really great events going on.
Oh, that's
yeah, it was
right.
really dope. Got some business handled. It was great. And shout out to Claudia Jordan and her shot packs. Really dope Black business that she's starting.
And her what?
Shot packs. They're these little 17% alcohol, like Capri Sun kind of looking shot
I
things.
have seen
They're so
What?
good.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
We got smashed with her and we laughed. Anyway, while I was at actually Zen Lounge, which is in LA, I met Gangsta Boo, and she listens to the Friend Zone.
Stop it.
Yo, shout
Hand
out to
to
motherfucking
God.
Gangsta
I didn't
Boo.
tell y'all because I wanted this moment. Like this.
What?
Like, listen, I'm telling you. So I walk in, I'm in Zen Lounge or whatever. I'm talking to one of my friends, and I'm
Has
like,
she caught your shout outs?
I'm like, ain't that Gangsta Boo? Like, just like on the album, hey, ain't you Gangsta Boo? I was like, ain't that Gangsta Boo? He was like, yeah, that's my homegirl. Come say what's up. So he was like, hey, this is Dustin or whatever. I was like, I'm like, I am an old school Inquiring Minds fan. I said, and I have a little show that could called The Friend Zone. And we mentioned you. I said, I literally just retweeted. She was like, wait a minute. She's like, it's you and a girl be talking and another guy. I was like, yeah. She's like, the friend zone. She's like, she's like, I listen. I know who y'all are. I listen to y'all. I know y'all. Gangsta Boo listens to The Friend Zone. I tell you, all walks of life. Each and every one of them, okay? So shout out to Gangsta Boo. We love her here at The Friend Zone. She's always family.
Right.
Shout out to Gangsta Boo.
Gangsta Boo, Assante, you already know.
I'm stunned. I'm sitting here like, I am
Assante.
Right, how do we follow up with that one?
I'm really just sitting here like, I'm like, Gangsta Boo, if you're listening right now,
Hey, Gangsta Boo.
Legendary.
You really are.
Like not even fucking around. That's so weird.
We're touching people, y'all. So that's what's up. We touched Gangsta Boo. And that's what that is.
Oh
my God.
Dustin showing us a picture.
So
that's
it's like
crazy.
me and Gangsta Boo in
great.
LA. And shout out to Los Angeles, California. I had a great weekend celebrating my birthday with two of my best friends that were there. And it was just great energy. You know, it was just wonderful. And I really got a chance to really fuck with the personality of LA. So I like her a little bit more now.
Oh, yeah. I was in LA too.
You were. We were ships passing in the night, friend.
Man. Shout out to YouTube Black. YouTube flew out 100 of the top Black YouTube creators that they felt were the most influential and put us all in a hotel. And then had different Black celebrities. We had Russell Simmons, Nate Parker, Wanda Sykes, Mara Brock-Akil, which is awesome.
Wow.
I know she talked to us about how she came to make Being Mary Jane and all of her different movies and shows. So it was really beautiful to be in a room full of Black creatives that you look up to, Black creatives that look up to you. It was just like all vibes. Like the positivity, the inspiration. We collaborated with each other. Tons of beautiful pictures. Definitely check that out. The hashtag is YouTube Black. And it was also beautiful for us to come together online because we are a lot of people's favorite YouTubers together. And I think it inspired people watching us. Like, you can come together and have an amazing time. And there was no shade. There was no drama. And I'm talking to you from the experience firsthand. It was all love. And I'm happy about the different projects that are coming out of it. You guys saw that I posted with Black and Sexy TV.
Shout out to Numa Hey.
Right. I was sitting next to her and Assante was like, what'd you say? Touch her skin for me. And then I showed her the text and she took my phone.
And of course, because I was at work, I missed it. But
yeah, she took my phone and sent Assante the little kissy emoji, which I thought was so cute.
I was like, oh my God, it's you.
So there are a lot of really great collaborations in the works from that event that I'm really excited to tell you guys about. And my big announcement. So remember I told you guys about a photo shoot that I couldn't really say what it was. So the issue of Glamour magazine from May 2016, which dropped today, I am in a spread called Modern Family. With Cheska Lee, which is so exciting because that's the homie we actually like started together, and she's the one that pushed me on YouTube. So to be able to share that moment with her was really
full circle.
Y'all have been working y'all asses off,
right? And she actually just slayed Black Girls Rock. She was the writer for it.
Gorgeous as fuck.
Shout out to Cheska Lee
and wrote some of Tracy's shit.
Yeah,
I was like,
Tracy hired her.
Shout out to Cheska.
Yes,
Lee. Shout out to Cheska Lee.
Tracy Ellis Ross hired Cheska Lee to write her jokes and basically write all of her skits and lines for the show. So shout out to that. I actually was invited to Black Girls Rock, which is amazing. It was my first year being invited, but
one. Go ahead.
But because I was in LA, I couldn't make it out, which really kind of was sad, but you know, it's okay. Next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to share that amazing spread. Like I said, it's called Modern Family, and it's the May 2016 issue of Glamour Mag. They had me in some crazy sweaters, but you know, we made it work.
Yeah, it's cute. You look pretty, like really
you know how
pretty.
them high fashion people be. But yeah, so check that out. Definitely pick up a copy, and a lot of you have already picked up copies and sent me screenshots of the page.
We going
so
to do that,
thank
right?
you
when
for
we
that.
out of here.
Right? If you
Yep.
do that, definitely show me on Twitter and Snapchat and wherever I am. So thank you for the love and the
Yes.
push and the inspiration. And let's keep going. We said it. No playing small.
That's right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
That was our New Year's resolution.
was.
And it's only April. And look at all that
That's
we've
why we was all
accomplished.
traveling
Yeah.
on the same weekend.
Right?
We was
We were
all
in
doing
Texas.
it.
So
Oh yeah, out in
yeah.
Dallas. Oh, and shout out to somebody who emailed like recommendations of what to do in Dallas, but
Oh, I saw that.
unfortunately it was
really
such a
cute.
short trip. We didn't get to do a lot, but we did enough. So it was great.
And that's it for me. No more announcements.
Good.
That's
Well,
wonderful.
this was an awesome episode. We got
It
to talk
was.
and touch on some very important things. I think the takeaway should definitely be go out there, get informed, speak up, get some conversation started, ask questions, beat down the doors, really figure out what's going on, and just make an impact in some way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and make a statement, but just asking could be enough.
Yeah,
so keep
use
that in
and
mind.
use your platform and talk about real things sometimes,
That's right.
Okay, look at Cardi B. As much as I be in here talking about Cardi B, she using her platform to talk about some positive things
I love
now.
Cardi B.
Okay.
So that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening. We love you, and we will see you next week.
Stay black and protect your magic.
Holla.